Hey traders, how are you? With Marcello. Today we're going to be talking about funded accounts. I got a question from Connor asking about what I think about futures accounts, in addition to the fact that he thinks there are no futures funded accounts, which there actually are. Let's go ahead and get started. The question from Connor is basically, what are your thoughts on all the funded accounts available today? I've been watching you for years, so I know you've always preferred trading with futures markets, which aren't available with funded accounts. If you guys have any other questions or there's brokers that you want me to review or anything like that, just leave it in the comments with hashtag AskMarcello. Don't forget to leave your like here on Facebook. It's not Facebook, it's YouTube, but the like button hasn't gone up in cost yet, so go ahead and leave your like. So if you are interested in getting started trading or investing in the stock market, I've been in this industry now for almost 23 years. This is learning how to trade. This is actually trading. This is actually funding traders. I personally have had my own funding company as well. And so I pretty much know the ins and out of this entire industry. And I'm going to start doing a lot more of these videos to kind of give you a little bit better direction of where to go to. But the first thing is, I do recommend the funded accounts. And if you guys don't know what a funded account is, basically, instead of learning how to trade and then going and open up your own account, it's kind of an intermediary step where you can actually trade someone else's capital. The way it works is there's a bunch of different companies out there. There's one that I recommend called Take Profit Trader, especially for futures. I'm going to actually show you some results of their traders that are actually trading the accounts, to show you kind of how much you can win, how much you can lose, that kind of stuff, to kind of give you an idea. But the idea is, before, you would have only been able to open up an account for $100 and then maybe trade with max, let's say, a leverage of about 5,000, or in the futures market, for example, you have anywhere between, let's say, 10 to 1 or 5,000 to 1 leverage. With these funding companies, you come in, you pay the fee for the test. The test is a certain amount of parameters of profitability and, a certain amount you can't lose. Every company kind of has a different set of rules. They're pretty similar overall. And generally they cost about $150 to take the test. After you pass the test, then you go into a funded account. And the funded account is essentially, depending on the size of account that you choose, you can trade up to, 25,000, 50,000, 100,000. Some companies offer up to $200,000, $250,000 accounts. So the actual leverage, if you think about it analytically as well, if I'm paying, let's say, 100 or 150 bucks, well, if I pass the test, I can literally get the leverage of trading up to a $25,000 or $50,000 account. So theoretically, you're getting a 50,000 to 1 leverage, which I think is amazing. Now, on the flip side, remember that if you don't pass the test, or if you break one of the rules, then you have to stop. That's one option, or you can pay for a reset, which is, I think the general cost for a reset is about $100 or so with a lot of these companies. So I really like the funded accounts, and the reason why is because it provides a stopgap when it comes to trading. So if you guys know my story, I'm just going to activate the recorder here so you guys can see the results I'm going to show you in just a second. When I started trading, I started out with stocks in high school. I didn't really take it really serious. Eventually, when I was in college, I took out $25,000 in student loans. I lost that in a month. So imagine me funding an account with $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, and then it just disappears. And one of the things that we have to understand when it comes to trading is trading is 85, 90% psychology. It's emotions, where it's 10, 15% technical. There are a million different ways to trade. There are a million different indicators, and they all work, right? Two guys can take the same trade in the same spot. One can go long, one can go short, and they can both make money. So the key to this business is actually controlling your emotions and being disciplined. There's a lot of great academies. There's a lot of great traders out there, especially now, right? I actually bought this horrible program where they tried to promise me that, they gave me these Fibonacci levels, and I paid, I think, $12,000 for this course. And that was on top of the $25,000 that I lost. And I found out that I could just do that for free later. I'll get into the details of things that you should look out for and things like that. And if there's any videos that you want me to do specifically, just leave them with hashtag AskMarcello. I'll be happy to do that. But it's super important to understand that you have to have something that stops you. You have to learn how to control yourself. And by using one of these funded accounts, it gives you the opportunity to kind of have a stopgap where you're going to come in, you're going to trade, and then you're going to lose. You're going to get kind of busted out of your account. And then there's like a way to kind of give you a flash of light in your brain, right? Give you like a refresh. So, oh man, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to. Let me go back and practice. Let me go back and retrain. Let me go back and get the consistency again that I need to go back and actually trade for real, right? And so when you're trading in your own account, you don't have that unless you just load it with the minimum. Trading has changed a lot since I first started years ago. This year coming up is going to be my 23rd year in this business. When I first started trading, I had to pay $120 a month for the platforms. Now there's a bunch of free platforms to use. You literally can learn for free if you wanted to. It's going to take you a lot more time because you have to go through all the errors, and you're not going to learn the errors from someone else. You're not going to have someone kind of taking you by the hand, right? Like we do at Day Trading Academy, but it's super important to have that stopgap, that thing that tells you, hey, wake up, you're doing something wrong. And that's one of the reasons why I really like the funded companies. Now, if I'm going to show you here the results now, just so you guys can see this. I asked my friends there at Take Profit Trader just to give me the top 5 winners, top 5 losers. This is the dates when I asked them for the information. I recorded this video a while ago. If you guys are watching, probably a year or two from now. But you can see that the biggest winner made $15,000 in a week. The second biggest winner was over 9. The third biggest winner was Michael at 8,500 or so. Matthew was 7,600, and then Kim, which was 7,600. Now, these were in the funded accounts where you actually can get paid on the profits that you're trading on. So they pass the test and then they go into the funded accounts where they trade and then they get paid a percentage, which I'm not mistaken, I believe the majority of them, are 80%. Now, if I show you the losers, right? Because remember, in this business, full disclosure, you can make a lot of money, but you can lose a lot of money too if you don't know what you're doing. And remember, I want to give you guys these disclosures that the FTC requires. Remember that previous results aren't indicative of future results. This is for educational purposes only, et cetera, okay? Now, the losers, this is on the test accounts because, they have limits of, let's say, 2,500 for, I believe it's the 50K account. But notice the losers, which are massive. So I highly recommend the futures funded accounts or funded accounts in general. The reason why I like them, as I mentioned to you guys, is because it provides a stopgap to be able to try to get your emotions in control. Not where you fund an account, let's say for $1,000 or $5,000, and it's really amazing when you're trading because it's like the world disappears and you're just, you lose a little bit of money and you couldn't afford to lose it. So you just kind of black out and you just take trades all over the place. And then as soon as you know it, you blew your account of $5,000. And so that is not as likely to happen if you're doing a funded account. So that funded account is that kind of provisional step that I didn't have when I first started trading years ago, where it allows you to kind of get a little taste of that emotional pressure that you're going to need to learn to be a professional trader without having to bust out, tens of thousands of dollars, for example, in an account if you're going to fund it that way. So I think that was all the questions. Let me review it here. Yeah, what I think about funded accounts, I think they're super, super beneficial, especially for traders learning how to trade. With the futures funded accounts, there are a bunch of companies now as well in the futures funded space that provide the funded accounts. I would recommend the one that's called Take Profit Trader. You can just go to takeprofittrader.com. I think the code or the discount code that I'm giving everybody is DTA40. So capital DTA 40 or DTA 30, but one of those should work. And if there's any other companies or markets, or I might try to do some technical analysis stuff. I saw in the comments one of you wanted me to talk about charting and market patterns and things like that, so I'll definitely recommend that for you. I did a few other videos about the best platforms, the best brokers, and things like that. So let me know if you guys have any other questions. Don't forget #AskMarcello. Don't forget your like. It helps a lot with the algorithm, and we'll see you next time. Bye.